Hello, this is part 2 of a tutorial series on how to make the Asteroids game using Scratch. And this is where we got to at the end of part 1, where we have all the controls to move the ship in place. So what I'm going to concentrate on in this particular part is the fact that the ship gets to the edge of the screen and then kind of bounces off the edge. And in the original Asteroids game, the ship would have gone off one side and come back on the other, both left and right and top and bottom. So that's what I'm going to program now. And in actual fact, I know that it's not just the ship itself that I want to come off each edge and come back on the other side. The asteroids, when I program those, they're going to have to do the same thing. So rather than writing blocks and then repeating them later, I'm going to make a new block. And I'm going to call this block screen loop, and then I'll be able to use this block with different sprites. So here's my screen loop, and I'm going to put that in there now so that it's inside the main gaming loop for the ship. And here's where I'm going to place the code that will make it loop. So over on this side of the screen, the x value is 240. And over here, it's minus 240 for the x value. And the y value up here is 180. And at the bottom, it's minus 180. So I'm going to put some if statements in to try and control it so that when it gets to here, it jumps straight back over to the other side. So here's where I want the operator. And what I'm going to make it do is grab the x position and say if the x position is greater than 240, then I want to set x to minus 240. So I'm just going to see if that works by going off on the right hand side, and you can see it's coming back on the left hand side. That's the only one it is doing at the moment. So I need 3 more if statements similar to this one for the top and the bottom and the left hand side. So I'm going to grab 3 more if statements here so that I'm saving time, not jumping around looking for these blocks one after another. I've just got them all in advance. And I know that I need a smaller than operator for the x position. I need a greater than operator for the y position, and a less than operator for the y position. I need to grab the x position for this one, and what I'm going to say is if the x position is smaller than minus 240, then I'm going to set x to 240. And for this one, if the y position is greater than 180, then I'm going to set the y position to minus 180. And finally, if the y position is less than minus 180, I'm going to set the y position to 180. Okay, let's see if that works. Right, it's going off the top, it's going off the left-hand side, it's going off the bottom, and it's going off the right-hand side. Now you could see quite clearly there's another problem with what I've got at the moment, because the speed of the rocket just gets faster and faster and faster if I hold down the up arrow key, and that's not going to lead to very good gameplay. So another thing I want to do before I do anything else is fix it so that the speed of the rocket has a limit to it. And I'm going to do that by putting an if statement in here that says that this is only going to change by 1 if the value of the speed variable is smaller than a certain limit that I want to give it. So here's the speed variable, and I need to choose what my limit of speed is going to be. I'm going to try 10. So we'll see how that looks with a speed limit of 10. Well, that's obviously quite slow, but that might be quite good for beginning levels of this game. And maybe later on we could think about making it so that we could have a greater limit as the player goes through levels and the game gets harder. But I'm quite happy with that for now. And just before I finish this tutorial, there's one other small problem, in that you can see that if I click stop and then click start again, the speed of the rocket is carried over from one game to the next. And that's an easy thing to fix by, when the flag is clicked, set the variable speed to 0. Okay, that's the end of part 2, and this is where we've got to now, with a rocket with a limit on its speed that goes off either side of the screen and comes back on the other side. Thank you very much.